What's a typical day like in the preseason or in training camp for an NFL team or a player? This is really interesting because these are long days. So when do you start? You start early in the morning. What's the first thing that we're trying to do? We're trying to get the proper nutrition. We're trying to get properly fueled and hydrated. This is another factor. Whether you're in the heat and the humidity of Louisiana down in New Orleans, or you're in the beautiful area in California where you're not dealing with a lot of humidity, we still have to hydrate these athletes to an optimal level because that's going to help us prevent injuries, keep them safe, and keep them healthy for their entire careers. So the morning starts with that. We focus on nutrition, we focus on proper fueling and proper hydration. Part of that is weighing in and weighing out. We'll actually weigh our players in pre-practice and we'll weigh them out post-practice. Why? We're trying to look at how much weight that athlete has lost, typically by a percentage of their actual body weight. Then we know how much we actually need to replace from a fluid standpoint and from a food and a fueling standpoint after practice. Those are key little details that will keep our team optimized and healthy as we go through a very long season. What happens after that? If it's a training day, we're going to be in the weight room and we're going to be doing the physical groundwork that it takes to prepare our players to get out on the field and really compete at a high level. After that, we're going to have meetings. We're going to have team meetings. We're going to have offensive meetings, defensive meetings, and special teams meetings. Meetings take up a huge portion of the day within an NFL facility, specifically in training camp. Why? Because you're digesting all the film. Every play at practice is videoed, it's recorded, it's filmed from multiple angles. We're looking at all those things to correct minor details, but to make sure that play has the best chance of working when it gets called on a Sunday. So all that goes behind the scenes, every position coach, there's 20 to 30 coaches on an NFL roster. When you look at the coaches and the detailed work that they're putting in, that's a lot of that film review work. Then obviously we're going to go into lunch. We're going to pre-fuel, whether it's a walkthrough prior or after lunch. We're going to have a walkthrough where we can play with some of those plays. So we're going to walk through at a slower pace to minimize workload damage and some of the fatigue that can set in. Then we'll come back, we'll get that good lunch, and then by the time we get back to the practice field, typically later in the afternoon, we're going full speed. Now that's our opportunity to practice and rep the actual plays and everything that we've installed offensively, defensively, and special teams, and then we're ready to really gear down and go full speed, 100 miles an hour, so that our players can practice it as close to game-like scenarios as possible. Then what do? It's all about recovery. Once we're off that practice field, we're going to meet yet again. We're going to have more meetings to digest the film from that day or potentially install whatever we're going to install the next day from a schematic standpoint and tactically. Now, the recovery aspect is dinner, but then getting our players off their feet. We're doing things like massage therapy. We're doing regenerative work. We're stretching, yoga, all these things that we can help mitigate damage from the tissue, from practice, from training, from all the things that we have to do to prepare the body. But then we need to jump on that recovery bandwagon so that we can get them prepared and ready, because the next day we're going to do it all over again. Sometimes when you're with an NFL team, specifically before a game, you actually have curfew. That's where our players are in their rooms at a specific time, and our security director is checking them in just to make sure everyone's good. The other thing that pops up sometimes, players don't feel good in the middle of the night or they're having trouble sleeping, things like that. Then our sports medicine staff is always there to support and help. But those are things when you're on the road with an NFL team, not everyone knows about that curfew aspect where we're getting the guys to get to bed on time and making sure that they're rested, recovered, and ready to prepare for that next day.